Just lost 3-0 against Brighton. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah.
I feel like last time I saw you was a good vibe.
I think we were a game off of going top of the league, I think, last time I saw you. I think we'd just beaten Brentford 2-1.
The times have changed.
Yeah, drastically and very quickly. I mean, rapid decline. I didn't think... maybe second was a false position in the Prem, but I didn't see the decline being this drastic and this quick, to be honest with you. It's been so poor the last few weeks. I mean, I think it's 2 Premier League wins in the last 9 games. You said to me it was 2 wins in the last 10 all comps. It's just so bad at the moment. Maresca looks clueless, but you sack him and people start asking for him to leave. I don't trust the owners and the sporting directors to bring in a replacement who's better than him anymore. So I can't sit here and call for him to go knowing that the replacement will be better. So what do we do?
Thing, isn't it?
It's a catch-22.
You know, I actually still think that's second. No matter how badly we do, based on his comments, what he's basically saying, because we can talk about his standards all we want, the standards are being projected from up above,
yeah,
and he's just communicating. So they're basically saying whatever happens this season happens, and it's up to you next season to get us back into Champions League.
Which, by the way, you need to go into the next season with some sort of momentum, some winning form, some evidence that the manager's moving in the right direction. Out there tonight, it's freezing cold. Those players have got no evidence from the manager to suggest that he's the right man to take that squad forwards. The last 7 games for Chelsea have been so poor that they will start losing belief in what he's asking them to do. They've been embarrassed out there today. 2 games in a row away at Brighton. They've just not been at the races at all, and eventually they'll lose confidence in what the manager's asking them to do. And I think it's becoming a really toxic situation in Chelsea throughout the fan base, because no one knows what's going to change, what can happen. Because the owners aren't going to go anywhere, the sporting directors are exactly what the owners want, and the manager is exactly what the sporting directors want, and the only reason he may get removed from his job is if they feel like they need to hang him out to dry to protect their own jobs. It's a crazy situation. It's a football club that is being ran into the ground, in my opinion.
Everyone is protecting themselves and nobody's taking account.
Yeah, because
Maresca's forced to do it.
Of course he is, because he is the man who's out there at the press conferences. He's basically the puppet to the puppet masters. But look, it's away from that on the pitch. It is just not good enough. However you dress it up, Maresca, for me, is failing to learn on the job that he is out of his depth for. I said that, I questioned it. Can you hire a manager from the Championship and expect him to get you in and around Champions League place in the Premier League? He was proving me wrong for a while, but now I feel like his managers have sort of cottoned onto what he was trying to do, and he has no answer for it.
Is it just what other managers are doing to counteract what we're doing, or is it that we don't set up well in the first place?
No, I think we have set up well, because I think we've seen this team set up well and get results earlier on in the season. I feel like when they've counteracted it and they played like today, there's so much importance on Maresca's system in wide areas, getting his wingers 1v1. Sancho today, for example, out on that left-hand side, Brighton made sure that Minter tracked him all game long, and Minter ended up winning man of the match, scored 2 goals, gave Cucurella a handful going forwards, gave Sancho no chances, no opportunities today. Sancho obviously wasn't good enough as well, but all across the pitch, we're not winning our battles, and Maresca doesn't have an answer or isn't able to adjust it. And then, on top of that, the sporting directors haven't even backed him to allow him to try and do something different. We've got weaker off the back of January. We've got another injury tonight. Madawaki's done his hamstring. Yeah, he's done his hamstring, so we don't know what's happened there, how long it is, whether it's a tear.
6 weeks,
6 weeks, roughly, father says. So, look, it's all going wrong, but I reckon you could have predicted it in January. That this squad could have these issues going into the run-in, if you like. And our run-in, by the way, when the going gets really tough, I mean, that is some really tough fixtures we've got coming up at the end of the season. We might be out of it by then, to be fair, if we carry on like this.
How many points behind us, Brighton?
6. Brighton have just, off of that win, gone 6 points behind us. So that's a team that obviously conceded 7 goals to Forest not that long ago. They've beaten us twice in response to that in 2 different competitions. We are a team that are failing to beat a side that conceded 7 to Forest, and we were above Forest not that long ago.
Have we got Villa is crazy. Coming next?
Yeah, we do. A tough game. By the time the international break comes around, Chelsea's season could almost be over, bar the Conference League.
And well, not to sound like that guy is trying to find a positive in a very negative situation, but I mean, the best we can basically hope for is winning the Conference League. The way it's going, I mean, things will obviously change. And then that will propel us into Europa League, which will then be seen on the hierarchy as a progression. I don't know why else they would say a 2-year project.
Yeah.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
That's something that really baffles me, because I don't feel like the project had to restart off the back of sacking Pochettino. I feel like it had to be a continuation of what we'd achieved at the end of the season that was good under Poch, and like build on top of that, because we've got the players into a good place. We spoke about it during the game. We had momentum going into this season that I think actually, now looking back at it, Maresca rode on a little bit, maybe. There were games actually where he didn't do great, and we got good results, probably because the players were confident. We were flying as a team, we were moving up the table, but the message that's constantly come from Maresca has questioned the mentality consistently of what this club believes it should be. And I think that's had a hindrance on the players. The players have got worse because of the message coming down from the management and the top. Definitely, that would hinder any squad. I don't think there's another manager in the Premier League saying that his team can't achieve and can't win a certain amount of games to allow his fans to dream, to allow the players to dream. It's such a negative approach that I genuinely don't think that works, and it rubs off on the players, and you end up having results like this. There's no belief in the team.
I can't understand it, because you've got Crystal Palace, their manager, saying we can win the FA Cup. You've got Fabian Hürzeler saying, you know, we're going to play with 100% Chelsea intensity every time we play. We're here to win. And here from our manager, it's the polar opposite.
Yeah, and I was watching a video, albeit under the old ownership of Tuchel, and the complete difference of what he said when they asked if his team was ready. He said, it doesn't matter. For me, I'm here to win, and for myself, I'm going to do the best to win every game. Is Maresca not doing that? Is Maresca happy to lose games that he doesn't feel we're capable of winning? It's just the complete and utter wrong mindset to be a manager at Chelsea. In my opinion, no matter who the owners are, that just isn't good enough. And by the way, if you spend 1.6 billion, I cannot believe that the owners wouldn't want results. Because in football, revenue increases with success on the pitch. If you lose that success on the pitch, it's very, very difficult to start increasing your revenue as a football club. And I'll say this, when a club is as big as Chelsea and it's failing and it's below standards, players aren't held to the same sort of value. A team like Brighton punching above its weight, the players' value jumps and soars really, really high because bigger and top clubs believe they can make the jump. Players at Chelsea currently are losing value even if they're playing well, because or not playing great. If they're playing okay, they'll still be declining in value because the club is underperforming.
We bought a lot of these players for inflated prices anyway.
Exactly, and we've already lost money on them. And it wouldn't really matter. Like, say Brighton paid inflated money for Jorginho, right, they paid 40 million. His value has gone up off the back of a performance like this tonight, but they're still below us in the league. There's not one Chelsea player out there, maybe bar Tyreek George, that is showing right now that their value could have increased off the back of a performance like tonight. I think it's a diabolical business plan. It's so risky. If it doesn't pay off, and genuinely we're not in the Champions League consistently, and in the long run it looks really bad, I just don't see how they're going to benefit out of this financially. And I'm not here to do business, but they are, and they want money out of this club. I'm absolutely certain that that's their priority over results on the pitch.
I think the real concern when you look at all the money they've spent, one of the conspiracies that's going around is they spent all that money so that it could then allow them to withdraw money from the club, because until you spent that 1.5 billion, you were unable to do that. So that's one of the things going around. Also, talk about the value of the club, and if they were to sell the club right now, you actually don't get anything for that except the players and the pitch and the stadium, because that's all the club owns. Everything else is owned by Blueco. You've got the hotels, the training ground, the women's team, any other assets that I can't think of off the top of my head. So it's really, really.
And isn't it ridiculous that off the back of games like this is what it's drawing Chelsea fans to speak about, because the performances are so poor. There's nothing to praise it. There's nothing to speak about, because we all know that the manager is out of his depth. The squad has been worsened off the back of January's transfer window. There isn't a lot of hope. Without Jackson, we're going to really struggle on the pitch. But then we sit here and we sort of discuss that our owners are really running this club in a bad direction. It's just such an awful place to be as a Chelsea fan right now, because everything is out of our control, and we're sort of being, I mean, they're taking advantage of loyal fans, in my opinion, to be honest with you.
Well, there's not going to be, well, there will be loyal fans that keep going, but there's a lot of fans that won't want to put up with this. And I saw a lot of people leave.
Yeah, people will leave and they'll speak with their feet, I think, but they will be at the gate, because I don't believe loyal fans disappear. They'll just make their voices heard around where they feel like their club is heading. And by the way, I don't think the owners leave. I just feel like, you know what, we could give these owners a second chance if they admit their wrongdoings and start moving in the right direction again. Maybe one of them has to go. The issue for me throughout the whole club is that there isn't one person in a seat directing the club. It's always two people.
Well, right now it's if you talk about the sport direction, you're absolutely right. But it is clearly that
yes, but how many people own and run Clearly? Torboli's chairman and Egbali's pulling the strings. They both turned up to the meeting for finances the other day. They're both there. They arrived separately. There's obviously no cohesion between them. Every direction from the top of the club is people pulling in different directions. I fully believe Bowley wants different to Egbali.
Definitely.
I think Stewart wants different to Whit Stanley. I just think you go through the whole club and there'll be people pulling in different directions, and the club need to align and they need to speak out to the fans and advise us on how they're looking to go forwards to just try and get everyone on the same page. Right now, I feel like the players come over at the end of the game today and they sort of are looking back at us like we don't know what's going on either, because we're lacking ideas from above us. I feel like it's such a weird place to be right now, this club.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.